Welcome back to the front page. Tonight we're joined by Kayla Bond in Melbourne and Leisa Adoni Leisa Goddard up in Brisbane. Sorry there, Leisa, I'm just getting you confused with your burgeoning business there. Gang, very sad day for NRL fans. I am an AFL fan, but everyone knows the voice of God, Ray Warren, and his call for Channel 9 of Queensland's last-minute try in the first game of the 1994 State of Origin has almost become as legendary as the man himself. He's decided he's going to hang up the boots in the commentary box after all of these years, which is a terrible loss for the game. But the 78-year-old has announced that he will retire, ending a 55-year career and leaving him stranded on 99 Origin calls. Farewell, great man. You've had a great run. But also on the front of the Herald tomorrow, guys, is a really interesting story which probably comes as no surprise to many parents. The gap is widening, apparently. Schools miss targets again. More than 1 in 5 New South Wales public school students are below the lowest acceptable standard in reading and numeracy, and the gap between the most and least advantaged students is widening. The Department of Education admitted it needs to do better after it fell well short of the government's achievement targets. Lise, I think we saw today Jason Clare, who's a new federal education minister, had some wonderful things to say around what he plans to do with the role and things like that. But I guess it just goes down to the fact of just installing this new curriculum ASAP and getting back to basics, which I think is what he would really be focusing on as he settles into his new role.
Yeah, I looked at this and thought, how many times do we need to see a story similar to this on the front page? And whether no matter what state it is, they come up time after time after time, where it's one in a small number of kids, is actually hitting the mark, and the rest of them are sort of just out there flailing. And it comes back to what is being taught in our classrooms, and we are not up to the standard that we should be. They're not focusing on maths and English. You have kids coming out now, and I've got a daughter who's still in school, and goodness sake, can they just teach them to use a comma? Is it really that hard to go back to the basics of just using good grammar, as opposed to being able to sit around my dining room table and have arguments about climate change? You talk about Australia Day, you talk about Indigenous affairs, you talk about climate change. They're all across it. Ask them to list off our former Prime Ministers. They've got no idea. So, look, I think Alan Tudge did a great job in actually really sticking to his guns when it came to the curriculum. And yes, now it's up to Claire to actually put some pedal to the metal and get this through. And for goodness sakes, put some pressure on these education departments, because they can't just keep going, we weren't up to scratch. Sorry, we expect more as parents.